This is an interactive session. More questions from you would be a better proposition. However, let me paraphrase few things. Role of civil services in this country will continue to be there for years to come. Whether it is e-governance, whether it is going to be AI, technology as a support tool for civil service officers will take this country forward. So to believe that civil services numbers will come down, this will not happen. You can very easily count it. There are nearly 600 plus districts, nearly 30 state and union territories. A multitude of languages are spoken in the country. Cultures are different. So we require people who can ensure that the decisions of the government, welfare scheme of the government could be taken to the citizen. Ultimately, role of any government is to ensure that the last person, the citizen, get benefited. And what are the 3-4 main elements which are a must for a citizen? Education, health, and housing. And obviously it is also presumed that nobody remain hungry. So government major role is to ensure that a citizen does not sleep hungry. They have a roof on their top, on their heads, and they could get education because Constitution gives you the guarantee. The Act now requires that children up to age of 14 should necessarily get education. That's ensured in Constitution. So it's a mandate to the governments to create facilities and to create quality education. Now to support these 4 activities, you require finance. Without money in finance, in resources, you can't provide health, you can't provide education, you can't provide housing, and ensure that everybody eats. So if you look at these sectors, so there are mechanisms through which government, both in the center and the state, gets their revenues. And I'm sure you have been told in your lecture notes from where the revenue come. But the most easiest source to know from where revenue of India come and where it is spent, what is the best source? To look at the budget speech. Now this year budget will take place in February. But if you look at the last year budget, which is available online, you can find out from where the rupee come and how the rupee is spent. It is very important for all aspirants of civil services to know that what are the sources of revenue. One which you commonly see is a collection through GST. Are you aware of it? There is a collection also occurs through direct taxes, the income tax. So bulk of money come from these 2 sources. States get their revenue through land. So whenever there is a transfer of land from one end to another, there is a money to be paid to the government as stamp duties and tax. State also put in tax on certain luxury items, including the alcohol which is used. You're also aware, state revenue also come through taxation as a part of GST. If you look at the bill whenever you go to a restaurant, you will find out the food charges, then you find out the central GST, then you find out the state GST. Are you aware? Have you seen any bill? So this is called goods and services taxes. Earlier, state government used to have what is called sales tax, which has been abolished. It has been subsumed as a part of goods and services tax. So we get revenue. Expenditure occurs into these three sources. Expenditure also must occur to the sources where revenue can be developed. That means there has to be industry which make products for use of people, and when they make products, they pay taxes. So it is important that industry is brought to get new products. Industry is brought to give you more jobs. Industry is also given to get you more efficiency of production. In the end, they contribute significantly to the economy of the country. So one sector, which I mentioned to you earlier, called social sector. And what is that social sector? Governance of health services, governance of education, governance of housing, clean drinking water, and whatever other I said, which are the basic needs of a citizen. And this for our government is a must. Second part in governance is the revenue development, revenue collection, and getting the money to provide the social support. Correct? Now under this, which are the kind of departments will come? There will be a department of revenue, there would be income tax department, there will be a custom and excise department, there would be industry department. Now when there is an industry, when there is an activity which occurs, of late we are talking about sustainable development. Have you heard this word? Ma'am is an expert in this area. She might introduce to you today itself the Sustainable Development Goals. We are signatory of those goals. They are 17 in number. We became part of a Paris Agreement. Have you heard this word? Signing of a Paris Agreement. In Paris, countries of the world signed a declaration that they all wish to become partner in 17 Sustainable Development Goals. She will touch, but I will broadly touch you 2 or 3 aspects. Because this is one area which is going to be the focus for civil servants in future. One of the important aspects is that nobody would sleep hungry. So one of the important goals is create all kinds of activity possible so that nobody sleeps without food. So whether it is a scheme called Manrega in this country or any other, there has to be minimum activity created so that people earn enough and they don't sleep hungry. It's a very crucial. So alleviation of poverty and hunger is one of the key goals. I think all of you heard about it. Second goal is, more important, is to retain the earth for many, many more years. So create any development which is sustainable, where I use the resources, but I either replenish the resource or don't exploit it. So whatever today available on the earth should continue to be used not only to you, your generations in future, not one, but many more generations. And what is one of the aspect of it? Is that we are no more relying of taking hydrocarbon fuel from the earth. So we are cutting down on coal, we are cutting down on oil. And what are we moving towards? The goal number 3, 4 deals with energy basket in India today, focusing on green energy, renewable energy, sustainable energy. In one of the aspects of it, you can recognize use of electrical vehicles in cities and also what is called autonomous vehicles. Maybe today or some other time, Ma'am would have time to explain. She is guiding PhDs in e-vehicles, so she knows better. So this is another area of governance. Sustainability, associated industry, cleaning of rivers is a part of it. Because we must not pollute our natural resources of rivers. You are also aware that because of these greenhouse gases, the temperature is going to rise. And what is the commitment in sustainable goals? That temperature should not rise at any time to 2 degrees. If it happens, many of the small countries will go in water. Some of the boundaries of Kerala will also disappear. So total focus is on environment. So you now find in Government of India, in state government, Department of Forest, Department of Pollution Control, and many such departments now deal with sustainability. I am sure you are aware and followed. Last year G20 meeting took place in India. Are you aware? You are also aware that 3 teams visited Kerala of that G20 to look at how culturally in past we have sustained for so many years, and what are those new initiatives which can be built on based on what is called indigenous systems in societies. You must also be very proud that you are called God's own country because you got enough water, you got enough forest, and you are almost pioneering in alternative medicine. Some of your initiatives in health are very important. So when you are an aspirant of civil service, this is how you are going to look at the governance. As I said, governance for social activity, governance for financial development, and governance for sustainability. There's still something left. What do you think is left now? Something left is the rule of law and peace creation in the society. No exploitation, whether it's rich or poor, women empowerment, and inclusiveness. So these 4, 5 put together forms the sector of governance. Are you aware of it? So UPSC every year, through their civil service exam, select candidates for 22 departments of the government. And you are aware of them? The IAS. IAS is the kingpin of district administration. He is more known for the work he does when he is a district commissioner or district collector. So he is the person who drives all the government policies to be implemented in the district with the help of all other departments. So if you look at Indian district, Thiruvananthapuram has 2 districts, many more districts. I would suggest someday you try to visit a district collector office, and then you would know what does he do. He's not the boss, he's a coordinator. And district would have programs in education, health, agriculture, animal husbandry, irrigation, medicine. You name anything it's on earth, it is there. But in addition to that, while we used to have a government at the center, we also had a government at the state. But are you aware that through 72nd amendments, we now had what is called third tier of governance, which is what is called Panchayati Raj system. Raise hand, those who are aware. Are you aware? Raise hands if you are aware. All you should be aware. So currently, along with district collector, there is also a district development council. In the village area, there is a panchayat, there is a panch, there is a sarpanch, and there is a pradhan. And at the levels of urban conglomerate, there will be corporates, mayors, and blah blah. So the 2 governments go parallel. Earlier, everything would happen through collector. Today, he is the chief administrative officer of the Panchayati Raj system also. There is a separate election for Panchayat Raj. There is a separate election for state. There is a separate election for the center. You are aware that country had in the original constitution 3 constitutional bodies. Have you read about constitutional bodies in constitution? Which were those 3 first? They were created more for functioning purposes. For any democratic country, it is essential to create conditions where citizen can select its representative. To do that, election commission was created. So election commission role at that time was to conduct free and fair elections, both for central parliament and also for state assemblies. Correct? Okay. Then there was a dilemma and there is a debate. It will be interested if you, when you prepare for civil service on a regular basis, read about constitutional debates. They are easily available. So, question before the Constitution Assembly was, how would the people will be selected to work in the government? If you look at the companies, private sector, the company people select their own employee. But it was thought in government that the selection process for government functionaries must be outside of the government itself, the elected representative. And therefore, constitutional body called Union Public Service Commission was born. Article 315 to Article 325. And under the same act, the state public service commissions are also born. So it is not only in the center, but also in the state. The manpower would be selected by a constitutional body, which will make fair selection, which will make honest selection, which will make selection without caste, creed, religion, or any bias. The third constitutional body, what is that? Anybody? Any idea? While government collects a lot of money, government also spend. Now you can't spend just like that, can you? So there is a watchdog created called Computer Auditor General of India. What is the role? It looks at the expenditure done by the government and find out whether in doing this expenditure they have followed the rules. Subsequently, depending on the needs, because our constitution can be amended. How many amendments have been done in constitution already? Anybody remember number? Loudly, loudly. One, not? Little more than that. Your number? Take. Any take? Yeah, go ahead. How many amendments must have taken? 72nd I've already said. How many amendments? One is about 112. Okay? But this number keep varying, so nothing particular. But you should remember some of the key elements. But we also have in governance three major elements. One is the elected representative which form the government. Through assembly and parliament, they make the policy and the rules. But to deliver to citizen at the grassroots, we also have another important arm of the government called the civil service arm or the administrative arm. So all of you are aspiring to become a functional arm of the government who is going to implement all the policies made either in the state assembly or in the parliament, so that they can be implemented to citizens' benefit. But then there is also a third element, and that is Supreme Court of India. On all matters of constitution related disputes, in mind you, our constitution is so vast that it covers all aspects of citizen governance, law and order. So all that can be debated, discussed in directions given by Supreme Court of India. So we call three pillars of democracy. What are they? Government, judiciary and administration. Currently people also start believing that there was a fourth part of the governance which we consider is the media. Though media at times do not play the role where citizens should always be benefit, sometimes they do also become, and therefore people hesitate them to put as the three tiers of governance alone. Now, as I already given you a background, why commission? Why we are selecting you? I have given you this background. So how do we select? This must be a question to me. Over the years, we have devised, and it has evolved. Mind you, it has evolved. Why it has evolved? Because as the country grows, as the technology grows, as the aspirations of people increase, the demand on selection process is very high. When country became free, you think how many people must have been appearing for getting into civil service? There were not even 1 lakh. Today, how many people aspire? Do you know this figure? Every year, 11 to 12 lakh candidates aspire to become the top levels of civil service. 11-fold increase. Why it must have come? the education is percolated down with literacy rate almost touching 90%, with gross enrollment ratio in higher education touching almost 30%. So imagine the number. So youth population, we are supposed to be a young country. Do you believe this? We are a country of young people. In our population, in the age group of 18 to 40, is phenomenally large. What is that? Is about 50%. Now this force is a productive outcome. Each of you must work. So there has to be work choices. Some would do agriculture, some would work in industry, some would work in academics, some would work in administration or governance, some would work in NGO, some would be entrepreneur, some would be running small shops. So this age group of 20 to 40 is the biggest contributor in this nation towards our achieving with purchasing power parity the GDP number 3 in next 1 year. It's a great achievement. But it is because of you, the 50% people who are productive and who contribute to the growth of the country. Our role in UPSC is not to look at those bright young people who have aspirations in their mind, who have there's some commitment within them, and desire to do something to enable citizen to achieve their own standards and goals. Out of that lot, every year, through this civil service exam, we select about 1,000 people. Is that correct? All of you are trying to appear for civil service? Raise hands if all of you are appearing for civil service? Okay. Hesitatingly or unhesitatingly, if you want to appear in civil service, what is the first thing you should do? You should look at the gazette notification done by Government of India every year about this examination. This gazette notification available in the month of January. It is available last year. Change from last year to this year will not be very large. If you go through that, what will give it to you? It gives you how can you become a candidate. The minimum age required, minimum qualification required, reservations. There are no separate reservations for women, but there are issues of women empowerment. So this is one aspect which is given. Second aspect is given how the exam must be conducted, the process of selection. As has made you to understand, there are about 11 lakh people and we have to only select 1,000. What should we do? If you are in my place, you can think this scale. Number one, that you can't be friendly. Can you be friendly? You shouldn't have any bias. If you are from Kerala, you will not be selected. If you are from Uttar Pradesh, only you will be selected. It will not be right. And therefore, if you look at the selected list, which comes every year, you will find candidates from all states. It's not by choice. It is your right to be selected if you are good. What Commission only provides you an opportunity, an environment which is free and fair. It does not differentiate in the caste, creed, religion, color of the body, male, female. It does not select you if a father is the chief secretary of your state or you are a son of a laborer. It does not differentiate. In fact, in last 10 years, bulk of the candidates are selected from those who come from hinterland, those who come from small districts, because they want to participate more in government so that their own areas can get developed. So this is a great desire among those people who are first time learners, and they are coming in large numbers. And the quality is hard work. If you look at the examination pattern, which is given in this Gazette notification, does it consist of 3 components? Are you aware? Anybody would name what are the 3 components? First, called preliminary exam. Okay? Second considered is main exam, written. Third component called personality test. There is no interview. Their roles are different. The first test, each one who is a graduate, who is eligible by age, can apply. Application fees is almost minimal. For women it is free, for SC/ST it is free, for general category is 100, almost like this. So it's absolutely no money. So every year 11 lakh people apply. I can't interview 11 lakh, can I? Nobody. So first test called prelim test is a common exam to all, because any scrutiny test must be done on common standards. Before I was chairman, the exam was not common to all. Paper 1 used to be common to all. Paper 2 used to be option. But we knew that we are creating a scrutiny test. And a scrutiny test by nature must be applied same standard to all. And therefore now, preliminary exam have 2 papers, paper 1, paper 2. They are objective type questions, but they are not blindly tick mark questions. There are negative marks to question. So one of the important tasks is that you should not acquire negative marks. Because many candidates appear, the difference in marks of the selected candidate would be very marginal. And if you get more negative marks, you are getting out. And what are the 2 common papers? One, paper 1 talks about the country in general. That would mean cultural, country's history, geography, society, polity, resources. So that's the first paper. For that you must know the basics of history, basics of geography, social sciences, constitution, cultural aspects, dance, music of the country, the monuments, the architecture, the people, and the caste and subcaste, and blah, blah, blah. So that's first part. Those who want to prepare, the CBSE 6th standard to 11th standard books must be read. They are just the minimum background required for you to cover. Out of this exam, paper 2 Paper 2 is what a bureaucrat does. What does a bureaucrat do? He gets the notes on the file. And based on the notes, he make a reading and a decision. So sometimes they come in 5 lines. Sometimes they come as much as 2 pages. So he has to understand and make a précis out of it. Précis can still be 1 paragraph. But he may still write only 3 lines. So first component called comprehension. That you are able to read a case, a situation, read it carefully, understand it, and answer certain questions. This is what a bureaucrat does every day. It does not happen orally. He has to do something in writing. So roughly about 25% of paper 2 deals with this aspect. Now this aspect can be interesting. Last year there was a question in which they gave a scenario, but the questions later asked was on the sustainability. So when you comprehend, you have to comprehend very carefully. It's a paragraph and a half. Generally in English, available translation in Hindi. Okay? The second part is the numbers. These numbers are nothing but simple statistical relationships. In a given class, how many people are tall, how many are, what is the age group discrimination. So if you're a district collector, you want to know what is the district population, how many are female, how many are male, how many are age group of 15, 20, 30, 40, what are the income groups. So these are the rules of game he has to understand through numbers. There is no mathematics. It is the mathematics which you understood in schools, 8th and 9th. There is no trigonometry. Trigonometry is only used for purposes which are required in the field. In the field, you can judge what is the height of a building by simple 2 lines. Such relations can be asked. Geometric progressions can be asked. If this is happening, what will happen the next? And the standard is simple. The third aspect is the aspect of decision making. How do you decide? Given a situation, what call will you take? This will touch the ethical aspects. If you got 100 rupees to be given, your brother is also applied, will you give him? A dilemma. You may still give him, but there has to be procedural law to be followed. Please imagine, each bureaucrat is tied by the laws and the rules. He has no freedom to pass the rule. He has only a freedom that in his judgment what is the best. If there are 20 taker with a small amount, that's the only judgment he has. And therefore ethics is important. Paper 2 currently is a qualifier. You must get minimum 35 to 35% in paper 2. If you don't get, paper 1 of preliminary will not be checked. So you can't ignore paper 2. Correct? But there's a minimum requirement. And then paper 1. Paper 1 of 200 marks. This decides the merit to be drawn. Requirement is that if there are 1000 vacancies, which the Gazette shows, in the Gazette notification there is a number given, how many vacancies. Also given in Gazette notification, in preliminary, how many people will be qualified. It's given there. It's about 13 times the number of vacancies. So UPSC does not have any cutoff by its own. Every year number of vacancies change, every year candidate change, every attainment of candidate change. And therefore starting from the top, so first general category, then weaker section general category, then as OBC, then SC and then ST. Roughly 13%, 13 times is managed. So in managing that equal, it becomes more than 13 times. Sometimes you say, it's 1,000 vacancy, the candidate qualify over 15,000. It is to balance these numbers. And sometime in the last number, there may be 50 candidates. You have to take all of them. So therefore, each marks become very crucial. You can't get a negative mark. In questions not simple. And for you to start preparing, look at Gazette notification and also look at the past year question papers. Have you seen question paper of last year? See them. They are available online without any cost. Then you realize how would your preparation go. So out of 11 lakh who actually applied, not all appear in prelim by their choice. 6 to 7 lakh appear in prelim. And out of that, we only select 13 to 15,000. So now you can imagine how difficult this exam would be. So one of the most difficult exam is the prelim. And its requirement to prepare is CBSE 6 to 9th or 10th. That's a minimum. And then each of the subject of history, geography, political science, social science, science, you read. To keep you abreast what's happening, you read a newspaper per day, both in vernacular and English. And you also read one magazine. Now without this, it doesn't work. To develop your personality, you also read some extra, create hobbies in you. Those in the university have done this, very good, pursue. Those not done any time, this is the time. Maybe read books, visit places, develop some hobby. Because hobby gives you confidence in new alternatives. And when you come for a personality test, it comes very handy. Prelim exam for 2026, notification would come now in January. The exam would occur in May end. UPSC declared dates are fixed, unchangeable. So the calendar you can plan accordingly what happened last year. To qualify prelim must be your first target. But difficulty is that between the prelim and the main, the time gap is 2 months. So May exam come, August end result come, October first week, main exam starts. Main exams are over in 7-8 days. What is the main exam? Main exam again, except one subject. All other papers are common to all. What are common? First, the two qualifiers. English is a qualifier. In one of the language out of the Constitution of India, other than English is a qualifier. So those who are from Malayalam may take Malayalam. Those who want to take Hindi, they can take Hindi. So there are 24 or 26 languages written in the Constitution of India. And you can find that out and choose one of them. The standard is 10th. It's a qualification. Both papers have to qualify. Now, when you read Gazette, you should also make up your mind. Are you in a frame that these two papers can be qualified easily? Don't ignore them. Then there is a paper on essay. 2 essays are written. One normally in social sector, other in the other sector, which could be economy, law and order, international relation, what not. Essay paper or 250 marks. Then there are 4 common papers. General Studies 1, 2, 3 and 4. And they cover all aspects of governance. Starting from India culture, heritage, literature, paper 1, law and order, blah blah, then economy and then ethics. There's only one paper which is optional. All these 5 papers, 250 marks each. There's an option given to you for one subject, which you can choose whatever you want out of the list, and it consists of 2 papers. So 5 common papers plus 2 papers from option, add to 7 papers, 250 multiplied with 7 is the written marks. We have to now draw a merit to be called for personality test. Again in the rules it is written that people should be invited up to 2 to 2.5 times the number of vacancy. So if there are 1000 vacancy, 2500 people will be called for personality test. All rationalized, nobody's hand is not given anybody's. Chairman UPSC has no control in it. So we cut. But please understand, marks obtained in prelim exams are not counted. But marks obtained in the main exams forms 83% of the total marks for selection. Because the personality test consists only of 275 marks. Remaining the marks which you get in the mains. So the merits will be drawn. Now these marks are not known to anybody when you come to personality test. So personality test in itself is a separate component of exam. It would mean the candidate day 1, number 1 is the best. Nobody knows. Because their marks are hidden. Because if the marks are not hidden, people will get biased. So there is no biasing. So personality test is in general a personal appearance before a selection board of 5 very eminent people, 4 experts, 1 member of commission, makes 5 member. And if you read the Gazette notification, it tells you what is expected. We are looking a very honest person. We are looking a person who can think out of box, who has solutions in their mind, which are practical in nature, and they understand the art and culture, and they are also aware what is happening around. It is not the text, what's happening around, what's impact. For example, Supreme Court last year said on the rule of getting money through bond, election bond. You remember? What Supreme Court said? It is non-constitutional. So the question is, discussion would you election reforms? Government said it's one of the reform. So that is clearly known who's giving money. But the government say, court say it's unconstitutional. So it has been withdrawn. SIR currently talking. There are reforms. Election Commission goes out and propagate, you must vote. Right to vote. Many such things. One nation, one election. So these are the kind of discussions occur on government policies, on government of your state policies, on developmental aspect of your government in state, developmental aspects of the government of India, and ultimately the problems of citizen. These are the point for discussion. Normally is half an hour is fixed. They will not dispose you in 20 minutes and they will not prolong you 40 minutes. If you have written your paper in English, you can give interview in Malayalam, it is allowed. When I was chairman, I made that provision because many people can write in one language better, but when come to speaking, they speak in their mother tongue much better, easier. So this has been permitted. And to help you in interview, we always provide you interpreter. But this information you have to give when you fill the form for personality test. So your marks in personality test, your marks in main are joined together, and finally a selection list is done. Government of UPSC only give it to Government of India as a recommendation. We do not appoint you either in IAS or IPS. That's not our role. Commission role ends when I send your mark sheet to them as a list of selected candidate. Then a medical test follows, his reports goes along. Police inquiry is done by the Department of Public and Department of Personnel, who also give you your cadre. Whether you get IAS, IPS, in IAS will you get Kerala cadre or Tamil Nadu or EGMUT or whatever. And that depends on your position and your choice. But UPSC does not do it. I thought I'll stop it now.